there are 5 courses that I think anybody who is looking to go into medical school would be wise to understand and familiarize themselves with. And even if you don't take it, because it's funny, these 5 courses are not even, part of the medical school pre-med curriculum. They're not mandatory. So you can actually get into medical school without even taking a single one of these classes, which is so weird to me because these 5 classes make up the bread and butter of what medical school is. It's not none of your weed out courses. It's not going to be chemistry. It's not going to be organic chemistry. It's not going to be physics, not even biochemistry, honestly. But these 5 classes, they are going to be anatomy. It's going to be physiology. It's going to be pathophysiology, pathology, and microbiology. Right? These 5 courses, if you somehow are able to take them and master them, you will do really, really well in medical school. Like your medical school might even be that much easier for you. And it's crazy because if you think about it, right, a first-year medical student typically takes a whole year of anatomy, right? And they're not taking like regular anatomy. It's usually gross anatomy. And for those who don't know the difference, anatomy itself is just kind of like pretty much anatomy, but in theory, I guess. It's about how the human body works, or not even how the human body works, really. It's more so the different parts and aspects of the human body, right? But it's in theory, really. It's lots of lectures, it's PowerPoints, it's flashcards, visuals, etc. Gross anatomy, on the other hand, it's more practical, right? You're actually seeing a cadaver, which is like a corpse, right? And you're actually dissecting, you're pulling apart muscles, skins, organs, etc. And you're understanding it, you're studying it in real time, right? That's what they call it, gross anatomy. And so that's really what it is in medical school. Now, if you are an undergrad and you have the ability to only take a general anatomy course, please take that anatomy course because that will be more than what most pre-med students take anyways, so it's helpful. And then if you have gross anatomy, that's even better. Typically, gross anatomy is a lot harder, I will say that, but if you dedicate yourself, you'll do fine. But either way, take some sort of anatomy course because that will help you out. And like I said, it's not mandatory, so if you don't have time to take it, don't stress yourself out. But if you have time and you're really determined and you know you're going to do well because you're so driven to go into medical school, take that course because I'm telling you right now, that course is going to make your life so much easier in medical school. Trust me, I wish I knew these things beforehand, or else I would have been on top of those courses 100%. Now, when it comes to physiology is more so how the human body functions, how it works, how the different organs work. And so, once again, if you're on like a pre-med track or a pre-med major, like specifically the major is called pre-med, they tend to incorporate the physiology course somewhere in the curriculum. If you're in like a generalized pre-med major category like biology or chemistry, something sciencey, typically physiology is not included, but you can always take it on the side if you want to. But once again, the bread and butter of medicine, physiology, right, is we need to know how our organ systems work, especially in conjunction with one another. Then you start going into the next course, pathophysiology. Pathophysiology is more so, if something is wrong, if there's a pathology like a disease or condition that's affecting an organ system, how does that organ system now work, right? So someone who has a normal heart, their organ is going to function like this, aka physiology. If the organ, if the heart is somehow damaged or it's has like some sort of disease condition, let's say like heart failure or something like cardiomyopathy, the heart is not going to function the same way a normal heart would. It changes now. And that is what we study in pathophysiology. The same thing with lungs. Someone who's never smoked before, who's young, typically has typical lung physiology, right? Their lungs work a certain way. Now, somebody who's been smoking for like 20 plus years, has COPD, their lungs are very like fibrotic in a sense, and their lungs are not going to function the same way someone who's never smoked before lungs function, right? It's different. And that difference, when your organs are damaged or your body's damaged, etc., it's that the physiology of a damaged organ and how it works and how it functions, that's more so pathophysiology. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Then again, you also have pathology. Pathology is strictly the disease itself and that process. What do we do with this disease? How do we characterize a disease? How does it present? How does it get managed, it get treated, how does it get diagnosed, etc. Like, we're just focused on the disease itself and what it's doing. Pathology and pathophysiology typically run hand in hand with one another. So you can't really study pathophysiology without getting a little bit of pathology. You can't study pathology without getting a little bit of pathophysiology, if that makes sense. But typically, I don't know if you can take a pathology course in undergrad. I mean, I'm sure you can take one in undergrad, but typically it's mixed with pathophysiology. These classes sound very intimidating. I remember when I was in undergrad, I found that these courses were very intimidating. It was like upper level, like 400 level courses. I was like, oh, no, I can't take these courses. But when I look at it now in medical school, like, it was a standard to take this level of course. And so I found myself being able to do it a lot easier than I thought I would had I been an undergrad and you were telling me that this is the course that I need to take, you know? So I would say, don't be too afraid, because it's possible to do this, you know? It's possible to take the course and ace it. The next course is going to say, so we did anatomy, did physiology, pathology, microbiology. Believe it or not, every field of medicine uses microbiology. I can't think of any medicine field right now, off the top of my head, that doesn't use microbiology, just because these bugs are like everywhere. These microbiology bugs everywhere. Every field of medicine has some sort of condition, disease, bug that can cause damage to our bodies or affect it. And so microbiology is very important. I know if you take some bio majors do incorporate microbiology. I know some biomed majors for sure definitely do incorporate microbiology, but it's something that obviously it's not going to go into depth as like medical school will. That's just in general, any of these undergrad courses. But the point is, just if you take any of these courses, right? And microbiology, like, you know, studies like, you know, parasites, viruses, bacteria, fungi. That's really what microbiology is. You know, how they present, what they cause, how they get treated, how they, like, you know, survive in our system, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So anyways, that's microbiology. The point is, all those 5 courses, none of those are mandatory. None of those courses I mentioned before are mandatory for someone who's trying to go to medical school. However, if you master those 5 courses, you master them, you literally will have an easy time going through medical school. I kid you not. And when I say easy, I don't mean like super easy, like, oh, I don't have to study. No. I'm just saying, like, compared to your counterparts, like your other classmates, you will have a significantly easier time. The funny thing is, most medical students, one sec. I don't know why that's embarrassing. Anyways, so yeah, you will have a significantly easier time, I believe, than your classmates. Why? Because most students aren't taking those courses. Most students are going into medical school, learning those courses for the very first time. But you, on the other hand, you'll actually have a leg up on them because you would have seen it before, you would have understood it before, or you would have had plenty of time to digest that information. And then when it's time for you to actually take the course in medical school, instead of you learning it for the first time, you're like, oh my goodness, what is this? You're like, no. I've actually seen this before. I've heard about this before. This looks familiar, blah, blah, blah. It's just so much easier and so much better for you, I think. And so it's only to your advantage. Like I said again, it's not mandatory. And obviously, if you're struggling with your general pre-med courses, I don't suggest you take this because it's only going to make it harder for you. But if you haven't been struggling and you feel like you want like a challenge or something, or you want to just, you know, prep yourself a little bit more, I would say take the course. It's not going to hurt you, unless, of course, you do bad. So that's something you got to weigh out too. You don't want to do bad. You don't want to start taking the course just because, hey, you know, Dr. Femi said I should go ahead and take the course. It's going to make me do good, and then you fail it or you do really bad, and all of a sudden you have a lower GPA. No. If you're going to take this course, you need to take it seriously and take this course knowing that you're able to step up for the challenge and literally ace it, because that will set yourself up really, really, really well for medical school. And like I said before, a lot of pre-med majors, biomed majors, pre-med track people already taking these courses as part of their major and undergrad requirements. Not their med school requirements, but their major requirements, because they want to prepare their students for the next level, which is medical school. And so what better way to prepare you for medical school but by not just taking the courses that are required to get in, but the courses that are actually going to supplement your knowledge and education and make medical school seem a little bit more familiar to you versus someone who's never had taken any of those anatomy, physio, pathophys, microbiology, or pathology courses. Anyways, that's the end of the video. Drop any comments down below. Feel free. I'll be happy to answer anything and clarify whatever I just said. All right, guys. See you next time.